What are you doing right now that you are truly proud of? And not just proud of in the sense that it's like, oh yeah, this is what I do, it's fine. But what are you doing right now that when it's over, you're gonna look back on it, whether it be years, days, months after the experience, and be like, wow, those were the times. That was great. That was amazing. That was like something like none other. And what is it about those times necessarily? Not necessarily what is it about those times, but what is it about noticing those times, and what is it about not living in those times? What is it that does for you? I was thinking about just kind of my life over the last few months this morning, and I'm just thinking about where I was before this point where I am currently in my life, where I was before that point in my life, where I want to be, what do I want to be experiencing now, and what I want to be experiencing in the future. And so I guess the that's a really that doesn't I feel like the description of what I'm saying there doesn't necessarily make sense. And I guess the specifics, the specific puzzle pieces that I was thinking about uh, was I was thinking about my channel, my gaming YouTube channel, this one, William Butlerger, and I was thinking about myself in high school and how I always was nervous that I wasn't necessarily living my life to the max. I was always concerned that I was missing out on some sort of experience, that I didn't have certain stories, that I didn't have certain experiences that I needed. And I went into college thinking like I need to make up for lost time. I'm not doing anything that anyone would care about, nonetheless that I myself even really cares about. I'm just kind of going to school, playing video games, and I had this girlfriend that I didn't know what I was doing with. If you're looking back on it, other than just being two high school kids, that's really what the commonalities was in that situation. Like most relationships that don't make it out of high school. So my point with this is, and went into college, and I kind of I don't know, became the person I wanted to be. Seems a little like weird phrasing. It seems like I crafted this personality, this part of me that was illegitimate, or was fake in some way, shape, or form. And I don't necessarily see that as what was happening, but I definitely see that as I wanted to go from something boring and not exciting to something that I was proud of myself doing, something that I didn't mind telling other people that I was doing. And it's an interesting thing with this YouTube channels, because my YouTube channel, my Twitch stream, I'm not interested in really talking about those a ton. I don't necessarily like sharing this, and I even have gotten to it's gotten to the point now with like my gaming setup, my gaming knowledge, and in conversation, and what I'm able to talk about in current gaming events and stuff like that, that people will see my setup and kind of talk to me about gaming for a while and be like, do you have like a Twitch stream or something like that? And it's like, yeah, but also no. Like, I have one, yeah, but no one views it. And I, stream and upload videos on YouTube and Twitch far too frequently for then, I don't know, it would be shameful to show someone like, oh yeah, this is what I'm proud of, this is what I'm doing, that nobody else knows about. And so there's a little bit of, there's some sort of like a lack of pride that comes associated with this, just because nobody else seems to be nearly as interested in it as I am. And so now cutting through to the post-grad life, so you graduate from school, and you're living on this situation where it's like, okay, so who am I now? after, being done with school, it's like, okay, well, I'm this person that, I was in a fraternity that, I wasn't in the fraternity for my entirety of schooling. I was in a fraternity for a year, and I went from, being a pledge to a new member to being on exec and quitting all in a year. So I felt like that was a pretty cool experience to have. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm proud of it in the sense of like, oh, I'm proud to represent fraternities, but I'm proud of like those experiences I had. I'm proud of the person that I was. I'm happy about the stories and experiences that I have from that point in time. But then also going from there to becoming an art student, and in the interim between being this business major fraternity guy and transitioning to an art student, it was the 2 years between then where I really learned a lot about myself and other people and kind of the things that I think are important. And it's kind of when I was in this fraternity in my first year of college, I wasn't really making any gaming content at all. I wasn't even playing video games so much, or even really again at all. And so it was this experience where I was doing things where I necessarily wasn't. They weren't me. They weren't interests that I have, and so they were like they're stories and times and experiences that I'm not necessarily shameful of, but at the same time they're experiences and stories that are more illegitimate. Like if I was referring to like becoming this person who I wanted to be, I didn't becoming like this person illegitimately or become someone inauthentically, I think is maybe a better word. But yes, these were authentic experiences that I was having there, and I think that those are true. But I'm not necessarily like, no one's proud, I think, of ever being in a fraternity. I guess there are. Then let me rephrase it. There are a lot of people that are proud to be in a fraternity. There are a lot of people, even people that I graduated with, that are still proud to like represent the fraternity that they were in. But I don't. My point being is I don't necessarily know that there's something to be prideful of. But I don't want to spend too much talking about fraternities and whether or not you should be in them. So that was like something I'm not necessarily, again, to wrap it up, I'm not necessarily proud of doing, but I had fun in those moments and they were authentic. So because of that, I am, very much fine with those experiences. And then I transferred into this. I had to figure out who I was going to be. And in that period of time, sorry, the gameplay had to do a little bit of a switcheroo, but in that period of time, I was taking this class called Exploring Majors, and I was doing all sorts of things that involved me figuring out what I wanted to study in college, what it is that I was going to be making what was the basis on which I was going to be making my decision for what I was going to study in college and do for the rest of my life. And in this point in time, there's a lot of people asking you, both in like the university sense from like this Exploring Majors class, both in like the personal sense, both in just like there were other random college people that you meet in and about that aren't necessarily even your friends. Everyone's always asking you about what you want to be doing now, what you want to be doing later, what you want to be doing with your life. Because I guess the understood agreement when you ask an accounting major, hey, what are you majoring? And they say, oh, accounting. The understood expression from the rest of that sentence is that I am an accounting major. I am training to be an accountant. And from this point in my life, I plan to be an accountant going forward until I die. And like, what more? It's like, okay, so you really get a whole read on this person when you ask them, what's your major? And so that's kind of, I had this feeling that's what everybody wanted from me, to have to be able to be like, I'm going to be this major. I'm going to be able to do this after I graduate. That job is going to take me into this full-time, real big boy job. And then from there, I'll move up to be that department head. And then from there, I'll move up to lead that department, best case scenario, and I will die trying to achieve all of these goals. And it's just like, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to wake up every morning, just trying to do my best to move up in this company or in these series of positions, doing necessarily work that I wasn't passionate about. And that's something I have kind of learned about myself those 2 years, that 2 year period is, if I'm not involving myself in what I'm doing, I am not making the best product that I can make. I worked at this flower shop during this period of time, and they also did weddings. They did events and weddings and things like that, and they did he called himself an Imagineer. It was bullshit and pretentious, but he's a florist. But the point was, he had a vision, and it was executable. He had a plan, and he wanted to turn an event hall into, walls, tables, and chairs to a venue for marriage and celebration or whatever. So the point being is there's a specific goal. There's something that and there's a specific vision. There's something to create. And I learned that creating a thing, making a vision is the thing that I am interested in doing. And I thought, okay, so what jobs, what positions, what concepts are there where you have something in your head and you make that? And I was thinking about all of the other different things. There's like interior design and whatnot, and it's in architecture, things like this. I was following along these lines. But then photography and art really were the ones that interest me, because I was like, I gotta go with the thing that I'm truly interested in, and I'm truly interested in making gaming videos, and I'm truly interested in telling story with video, and I'm truly interested in what capturing one moment is like with video. So I became an art major, became a photography major, and I graduated with that degree. I'm happy I've done that. I'm not necessarily like we were talking about, are you proud of the life you're living right now? No. It's boring. I work a lot, and I work to live, and now I'm kind of a little bit, there is some aspect of, there is no escaping a lot of that aspect of life. A lot of life is doing things you have to do that you don't want to do to sustain you, and I get that, and I know that there's no escaping a lot of that. But I think the thing that I can do to sustain me, I can choose, and I think that I might as well choose the thing that I think suits me best and the thing that I think I enjoy the most. And so that's the decision in life that I've made, and that's kind of where I'm at now. And so when I'm thinking about I'm not enjoying where I'm at, just concentrating on work, just living at home, it's just like, this is something I'm doing now that I don't like, but I will have something that I like in the future. I know I will. And if I don't have something that's big overall in the future, I will at least have artwork to make that no one will care about, just like my gaming videos. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Like if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe for more. Maybe this is relatable.